Hey guys, what's up? This is Dusty. I hope everyone's enjoying the Bucks game, the Thursday night game here. I've been watching a little bit of it, doing a little bit of writing. But I wanted to kind of just take a break because it's halftime. So I don't know what else are you doing, I guess. And just I wanted to walk through a couple plays, one from this past week that was Tonyan and one from the previous week. I did write about the first play we're going to look at is from last week. I looked at that at Packer Report last week, and the Tonyan one I actually looked at this week over at Cheesehead. But I kind of like this format because it gives a chance to kind of talk more, I guess, for me to actually like kind of talk a little more about it. And then also, if anyone has any questions or comments or anything, you're able to do that, make it a little more interactive. And so I kind of like this format for that. So I'm gonna bring up my screen here. So this is from last week. Now, generally, I will have down and distance here, but for the purposes here, I don't have this one just because that's less important to me right now than just the overall concept. And also, like, it takes work to do it, and I didn't feel like doing that work tonight. So this is the first play we've got, and this is going to be play action bootleg. Now, they ran this a lot last week. They ran some variation, some version of play action bootleg, slightly different, but all roughly the same ish. About 6 times last week against the Saints, and we're very, very successful at it. So this is one of them. So I've got this marked up. So we're gonna kind of pause and talk through it as we get through it. So we've got now generally what will happen. This is not true of every play action bootleg, but generally what will happen, and we'll see it here. You'll fake to one side, so fake it to this side, roll out to the other side, and then you've got usually at least 2 to 3 weapons waiting for you. You've usually got like a mid crosser. You've almost always got a mid crosser. You've got at least one vertical route to kind of either take the boundary away or take a deep shot there, and one in the flat. So in this case, we got a mid crosser here coming from MVS from the backside here. And then we've got that's Tonyan. Yes, this is Tonyan running under the line and releasing in the flat. Then we've got some vertical routes. Sometimes you'll have this guy here, instead of running vertical, he'll go like that and then kind of hit that out. So you've got this kind of levels concept you roll in there. Anyway, I don't want to get too deep into it, but that's the general basics of play action bootleg. So we're going to see, and this ends up springing for a pretty big gain. We'll see what happens. Play fake, and you can see how everyone's drawn up here. Now what we're going to pay attention to on this one, and I've got one other one that maybe I'll show. We'll see. I don't know how this is going to go. Where they're flowing to the ball, so you bring them up. So that's the overall concept here. And we're going to see how this plays against it. Bring them up with the play fake, and MVS then comes behind it here, basically over the top and behind these crashing linebackers. And then we've got, actually I said, yeah, and then Tonyan and their Sternberger coming over there, kind of releasing in the flat here. So you're moving them over and running counter to that, and behind them if you're pulling it up. So that's a general idea. So you pull them up, and then we've got, so now you can see, here's the action we're going to talk about because this gets really important. You see how they're all like congregating here? They're looking back because they realize this is a play action boot, right? They've been fooled. Oh, they've been duped, hoodwinked, I think. Anyway, now they're all over here and they're looking to recover. Rodgers rolls out. Nice, easy completion for Sternberger, who runs for the first down. Now, I said I was only going to show one from last week. That was a lie. There's an earlier one, too, and this is important. So, same basic idea, except there's this route here. Now, this becomes important here. This from Lewis, and I actually talked about this one. I did a live stream last week. I talked about this on live stream last week, so I won't spend too much time. This little route right here is called the slam route. So what he's doing, this Mercedes Lewis, you block down, you fake that block down to help kind of sell the run. You're sealing the edge, and then you come back on the outside. So that works as your flat route. Where the last one we looked at, the flat route was Sternberger releasing underneath. This one is fake that block down the line and then come back on it. So we can see how that works. And yeah, so you can run some other flats off of that as well. Sometimes this works as a follow, but you can see all the room he has there. Now this doesn't end up going to him. This is the big play to Lazard, but you do have this release off the line. So that's 2 instances of play action bootleg, and I'll just stop it here because, well, I'll roll it. The rest of it doesn't really matter that much, but that's what we're looking at. That's some of the concepts. Two of the plays the Packers ran last week against the Saints and had really good success with. It was more or less the exact same thing. It's play action boot. You play action, you pull them up, you run behind them. All right. I see the game is back, so I'm going to finish this sucker up. So this is from this past week. This is Tonyan's last catch. This is 3rd and 1. There's 3.5 minutes left in the game. So what we are going to see now, this is not exactly the same, but it's close enough. I live in Kentucky. They say it's close enough for folk music. So we will keep that here. So here's what we have. Now it looks a little different. Now we do have Tonyan here kind of blocking down. So this kind of looks like you kind of got this slammer out looking sucker there. But it looks like he's blocking down. So Rogers will play fake. You draw him up. You draw him over. You're expecting the boot. You got that guy moving over because you're taking that. So you're expecting him to roll out this way. That's the action you've shown. That's what you're playing off of. They're looking for that. You've removed this man here, and these guys are pulled up, and this is Tonyan right here. Looks like he's blocking down. Now, if this is PA boot, he's slamming off the edge there. He's coming back. He doesn't. He releases underneath. Instead of rolling out, Rogers pulls up. So he's not boot out. This action here, got vertical, mid, shallow. All of that action is the exact same as PA boot to the same exact side you're expecting the PA boot action to come from. But Rogers does not roll. Rogers pulls up. Tonyan just sneaks out the backside, man. Just sneaks out the backside where he's wide open. And there you go. So this is something, again, they ran PA boot 6 times against the Saints, roughly always the same. You know, the fake to one side, roll the other side. You set that up. You show your tendencies. Say this 1,000 times. You show it up. You set your tendencies, and then you run counter to that. And that's exactly what they did here. They set all of that up. They set the PA boot up last week a bunch. You run through all that stuff, and then you just run something that looks different. You even had, again, that little block down that Lewis did the exact same thing, the exact same block down last week. Except instead of releasing the flat, Tonyan just runs across. And I said last week as well, we are going to see some variation of that. Now there's another where that guy continues. Now there's another one where you can leak out and run a wheel up the backside. They didn't hit that this time, but now what they've shown, I'm gonna wrap up here in a second. They've shown that they'll run the PA boot, and they've run that, a few times throughout the year, 6 times against the Saints the previous week, and now they've shown this. So this is on tape. Now, one of my theories is that this is on tape. They put this there during not a huge moment in the game. They're up 14. There's 3.5 minutes left, just to put it out there, just to have defenses something to account for. So now you've shown that variation. You've shown your core concept. You've shown your variation. You've got all that out there, and it's all worked. And so now defenses have to account for that. You have to respect that because you've shown that you will run it out of those looks. And you've also shown that you can run that successfully out of that look. So just something that, kind of noticed as I was looking again. I kind of wrote this play up. I wrote up Tonyan's whole day over at Cheesehead today. So if you want to check that out, you can. I'm going to do a little shameless self-promotion here. I had a Patreon. I'm not doing that anymore. But if you feel like giving me money for whatever reason, you can certainly do that. I'm hoping to do these live streams. I've been doing them every week. I feel like for the past few weeks, 10 minutes a pop or something. I don't know if that's going to continue every single week, but likely every couple weeks I'm going to try to pop up as I see something. So this was just something fun. I hope you all enjoyed this. And I guess just, hit me up with any questions if you have anything. And I guess I will talk to you the next time. Thanks for joining me.